Time being nearly 1 o'clock, we will open up capital budget. I'd like to recognize Mr. Shea to take us where we are at this point.
So you have two documents. The amendment, it's in Senator McConkey's name, which is Amendment 1870. It's got yellow highlights on it. And then you have a Excel spreadsheet that's shaded. I think you have a shaded version of that. I'll walk you through the changes that you have done. What the Excel document is basically section 1 and 2 of House Bill 25.
Thank you.
So you tentatively have agreed with administrative services and the community college appropriations that were put in by the House. You've agreed with the corrections appropriations that the House had put in, but you have an amendment that you'll discuss after this, looking to add an additional $200,000. Under education, you added 4 different projects for CTE programs around the state, where you're going to fund specific pathways within those CTE centers. If you flip to page 2, under the Department of Environmental Services, you added the on line 36, $5 million for the Southern New Hampshire Regional Water Project Phase 2B. Under Fish and Game on line 43, you deleted the John Deere backhoe. If you drop to
Wait a
page,
second. Line 43? Oh, the spreadsheet.
Yes.
yeah.
Go
All set?
Please. Yep.
Sorry. Under the military affairs on page 3, line 65, you changed the title to the project from Manchester Land Replacement to Military Veterans Services Center. No change in the value with that. Under natural and cultural resources, you amended the tramway appropriation to add $1.225 million. You deleted the Umbagog Lake State Park Marina facilities, and you reduced the original appropriation that was there for the Connecticut Lake Headwaters road repairs. And then you added $35,000 to address security issues at the state library. The recommendations related to the tramway were from the department. So just so that you understand that. And then if you turn to page 4, under the university system, row 98, there was a request to change the title of the project to allow a little bit more flexibility. And it went from Hyde Hall Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center renovation at PSU and Redfern, Morrison, and Ketty at KSC to academic building deferred maintenance projects. Again, no change in the value there. So far, your appropriations for the general fund from the general obligation would be $137 million. That is up just over $5 million from where the House was. They were at $132 million. The governor was at $143 million. If you pick up the amendment itself and just flip to page 6, starting on rows 14, it's the section 7. It's just, there's an updated figure for the bonds authorized on row
Sorry, just
16.
give me a second. to
Yep.
page 6. Thank you. Got it.
So that just shows you the total amount of bonding that would occur with general fund, highway fund, and others of $170 million. And then row 18 shows you the adjustment for the general fund to $137 million. And then if you look on page 7, that Roman 3, it's part of section 9. That was a technical correction that we talked about last week in terms of agencies that have general funded bonds. If they were to come into federal funds, they're under this language, they're to reduce the general fund obligation and replace it with the federal funds. But there was no requirement to report that they did that to the Capital Project Overview Committee or to the treasurer. And there's the potential of that occurring in the next month or so. So in discussions with administrative services, it was thought that maybe we should have a reporting requirement to that committee and to the treasurer. So it's more, there's no cost to that, it's just a technical. And those are all the changes to the capital budget that are being recommended right now.
So if I could, Chris, the House had, the governor was at 140, what was?
The governor was at 143 and change, and the House is was at 132.4,
And we presently are sitting at?
137.4
Well, we're doing-
approximately.
We're doing well. Any questions? There was conversation that was had with the Department of Education. They were just here, the director was just here and asked if we had further questions. The conversation was that they were okay with what we were putting forward to rejuvenate these four projects. I know we had asked about that. Why don't we move to the amendments? Because I did promise, for sake of time, that we would do that. And I'd like to take up amendment 1965S, paragraph 2, amendment from corrections. Grant, did you want to come and speak to us about that,
And I'll move
please?
on to pass, just to have a motion.
You're going to move on to pass?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. We have a motion on to pass. Is there a second for discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. Grant, would you please speak?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Grant Bossy, Deputy Chief of Staff for the New Hampshire Senate. I'm here today on behalf of Senator Kevin Avard, who asked me to prepare and present this amendment to you. He recently took a tour of the New Hampshire State Prison for Men in Concord and was, I would say, alarmed at the state of the kitchen. As veterans of this committee may remember, the capital budget included a prior appropriation for kitchen renovations at the state prison. That was delayed significantly by COVID. Costs have gone up extensively. Senator Avard asked me to look into ways to help. We reached out to the department, and they came back with $200,000 in the capital budget would help them meet these cost overruns. I want to stress this is Senator Avard's request. This did not come from the department. So if you think it's a bad idea, blame me. Senator Carson did direct me to try to find ways, given the tightness of the operating budget over on the other side of the first floor, to see if we could find ways the capital budget could help alleviate some of that. Senator Avard believes that adding to the prior appropriation for kitchen renovations is an appropriate capital expense, and he thinks it's worthy. Whether or not it's worthy for inclusion is up to this committee and ultimately the full Senate. The amendment before you amends the paragraph 3 Department of Corrections section of HB 2. Items 1, 2, and 3 are already in there as passed by the House. This adds item 4, $200,000 for kitchen fixtures and equipment at the men's prison. The department is here to answer questions about the project and how this money would be used. Other than that, Senator Avard thanks you for your consideration of this amendment.
Thank you. Are there questions for Grant? If the ladies from the corrections, if you could come forward, please. And before we get started, I know this committee probably has toured, my time in the House, I toured 2 or 3 times. The facility has always been terrible. The facility needs to be replaced. I'm just a little bit set back at the lateness of this, and could you rest my mind at ease? What is it you're trying to buy, and why is it worthy? And lastly, if we're fortunate enough to finally get the new penitentiary built, the men's, what is your plan? As I was told by someone, to take old equipment into a new facility. So please tell me how you plan on doing all of that, please.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Heidi Laramie. I'm the Administrator of Logistics for the Department of Corrections. What we are planning or intending to spend the $200,000 on is replacement kitchen equipment in the men's prison. So several pieces of our equipment are extremely old. We have equipment dating back to 1965. We can't get parts for them anymore. In order to make repairs, we have to have things specially fabricated just to keep being able to use these items. We've specifically looked at what equipment needs to be replaced, which includes 2 proofers, a dough roller, 2 80-quart mixers, a bread slicer, a 60-inch natural gas range, a convection oven, and a dough mixer. So in totality, those are just over $200,000 in cost. Our plan is to utilize them until the new facility or the replacement facility is in operation, and then we would move most of that equipment to the Northern New Hampshire Correctional Facility, which is 25 years old, and they themselves are starting to experience some failures in their kitchen equipment just based on age. So we would, keep the remaining useful life of that equipment in use at that facility.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Lisa. Yes, please, Senator Waters.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad you got the clarification on this, and hearing that it'll go up to the northern prison where they've got, so we have 50-year-old in one place and then 25-year-old in another. When the new prison is built, this won't go out into the dumpster. This will get used up there and probably help. So it's a small item, but we all know the situation at the prison and that kitchen. So hope we can do it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Motion's been made and seconded to amend the budget by $200,000, line 4 that shows here for corrections. If you're in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye, and if you're opposed, nay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Any opposed? Thank you. We have a second amendment that was brought to us, 1852S, amend section 18, original section 19, appropriation, sum of $325,000 for Pillsbury Lake Village District for the purpose of addressing loan costs associated with the following upgrade. And it's showing pipe upgrades for $155,000 and water filtration for $105,000, new well development $65,000. Is there anyone here to speak to this? Is there any, is there anyone that wants to push the amendment forward? Seeing none, we won't take up that amendment. So that brings us back to where we started, and it looks like an addition of $200,000.
That's correct.
Thank you. Please.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I just want to confirm with the committee that you're okay with Declan and I working to make a couple technical fixes. What we need to do is fix the total appropriation within House Bill 25 to reflect the adoption of the $200,000 here.
Yes, Senator Watson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank you for the good work on this. And of course, the House always sends us a pretty good product, but I really appreciate that we were able to include the funding for the water project. And, I know we have a couple weeks until we vote on this on the floor. And I know also there's some ideas in place about some additional water projects. And, we're up pretty high on this. We're not at the 143, but that was, the governor's proposal on capital budget is always much more than we're going to do. But I would like it just to be open to the possibility that as things continue to be discussed about additional water projects, that if there is a way to include anything additional in here, I really think we know we've got some more water projects done. And so I just wanted to mention that in a public session, that if there is a way to think about further capital budget roll for any of those, maybe we'll see something on the floor. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, maybe have Senator Ennis here.
Sure.
Could we, I don't know at this point, could he bring his amendment forward? Or at least talk to us about it, unless, okay, all right.
Senator Ennis, we brought your amendment forward, and it was not taken up. So, and then we moved forward and adopted the capital budget where we are. And as that pains me, sir, that's where we went. So that's,
Me out.
all right, thank you. So if I could, with us approving at that number as amended, and you have some corrections, some technical corrections, do we have to come back and we're done?
You can be done.
Okay.
You have voted the House Bill, you want to do a vote on House Bill 25 as amended. But you can come back with an amendment because you're not taking it out for a couple of weeks anyways, right? So if you want to schedule one more meeting to exec the bill altogether.
I just heard exec. Okay, so we'll move to go into executive session. Is there a second? Okay, we are now in executive session. Move to adopt House Bill 25, capital budget, House Bill 25 is amended.
Move.
Apparently, we didn't go into exec. I thought so too, but
Well,
Senator Gray?
I think, technically, we probably didn't have the motion to go into executive session. So we probably need to do both the amendment again and the bill again.
All right.
To make sure everything is
Are
good.
you confused, Nicholas?
All right, so Senator Waters, I'm sure wants to still move amendment
Yes, I do.
1965, and Senator Carson wants to second it. So we're back to there.
All right, so we'll vote on that amendment. If you're in favor of that amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now again, we move on. Amended.
And I'll second.
May I, you want to adopt amendment 1872?
I didn't name it by number.
Oh. 18, I'll move to 1870.
Yep, adopt amendment 1870,
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Seeing none, passed unanimous.
And now you want to do the final,
Move to adopt as amended.
yes.
Second.
Any discussion?
Also allowing LBA to make the required changes to the totals, et cetera.
If you're in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move to come out of executive session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I believe our work is concluded. I want to thank this board and the titans that sit along my side and acknowledge the hard work done by the House. They carry the water for the most part. And I'm very excited that we didn't get up to the original appropriation that we were provided with. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.